and welcome to Inner Circle Guidance. Today we're going to be doing a collective reading, but for those of you who are new to the circle, hello and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I post new videos every single day. And if you're looking for daily short tarot readings, check out my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. If you're looking for personal services or personal readings, I offer them through my website, innercircleguidance.com. Let's find out what the circle needs to know today. We have the Seven of Wands. We have the Eight of Cups. We have the Knight of Wands. We have Justice. We have the Nine of Swords. And we have the Ten of Cups. Interesting. Okay, so immediately I'm picking up on either some of you have some relationships or connections in your life that you need to either release, or there's going to be some clarity coming through on some of the situations here where you're going to be able to figure out who is and who isn't truly a part of your inner circle. So what I'm picking up on with this Seven of Swords is, so the Seven of Swords has to do with conflict, and it has to do with conflict kind of coming from all sides. So you may be dealing with somebody or dealing with people or have dealt with people in the past who have come at you from a position of trying to emotionally manipulate you, of trying to physically take advantage of you, or trying to break your spirit, and coming at you from kind of different angles, different sides, different arguments. And ultimately, the Seven of Wands has to do with disagreement in your life, and it has to do with boundaries. So I know a lot of you have dealt with people in the past who have not been positive, they've been negative. But I'm also seeing that there may be some people that may be trying to circle back around and try to make amends or try to re-enter your life because you've elevated and they see that you elevate. Some people see your light and they choose to try to step into it because they think by doing that, it's somehow going to rub off on them or they're going to get something out of it. There's no genuine care or positive intention behind that. So I'm seeing here that you've learned a lot from your previous relationships. You've had to leave a lot of people behind. You've had to draw stronger boundaries. You had to go inward and figure out why those boundaries were not as strong as they should have been in the first place, which has to do with self-discovery. It has to do with the balance of energies. But I'm also seeing here that it has to do with people who have a lot to say and very little action to back it. And I'm seeing that a large focus of your Ten of Pentacles, which I talk about a lot, which is happiness and fulfillment in all areas of your life, has to do with having happiness and fulfillment in your relationships, happiness and fulfillment in the various pieces of your life in general, in terms of the way you relate to it, the way you feel about it. If it's your career, for example, you want to love it, you want to enjoy work, not work to live. If it's your relationships, you want to have equal, balanced relationships where they're symbiotic and not parasitic, and those types of things. And that's part of what you're manifesting here. But what I'm seeing is these people who are coming back in, who are cycling back around, because remember, Justice card has to do with karma sometimes and cause and effect. Sometimes these people, knowing that they did something wrong, will still pretend like they didn't. And the thing about the Justice card is the Justice card is a finite decision. It is a decision that comes in and it's like, this is the best thing for all parties. This is what's happening. Moving on. We're done. There's no coming back to it. There's no what's that saying in court or whatever? It's like you can't get tried for the same thing twice. It's that same sort of energy of we already had this trial. The decision was made. Moving on. Some of you, I think, question whether or not you're being too harsh or whatever when it comes to things like this. Others of you, I'm seeing that you get worried and stressed about how you communicate with these types of people, or when they come back, how to deal with them, because you're afraid of hurting their feelings. Let me be very, very blunt with you here for a second. F that. It's all fine and dandy to be a kind and caring person, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be. However, there's always going to be certain people in this world who all they want to do is take advantage of you. And if you are just nice to that person and you let them walk all over you because you're too worried about feelings, you're going to get taken advantage of and you're going to get screwed over. Especially when it's someone you have a history of doing that with, where they've done it multiple times and there's no actual action behind them claiming they've changed. Now, the other thing I'm seeing here is with that happening, some of you have gotten better at getting rid of these types of people and rejecting them when they come back around. Others of you, they come back around and it's almost like you get caught up in the energy of trying to prove to them that they're in the wrong. And so you end up going through this whole cycle and all this energy and you're like trying to best them in the arguments and you're trying to point out all these facts and you're trying to befuddle them with your excellent observations. Well, I'm going to give you a reality check here. That's a waste of energy. All that energy that you're putting into trying to bowl over the other person to realizing they're in the wrong is a waste of energy because this person knows they're in the wrong. They don't care. They don't care. All they care about is getting what they want. So part of the reason this is getting brought up and why I'm saying that some of you are going to be repeating cycles, others of you, you're going to be dealing with people coming back is because you have to learn how to be very strong in those boundaries. Because as you elevate, you gain more abundance and more maintenance has to go into that abundance. But that also means you have more to lose. If you don't have very strong boundaries as a powerful as a powerful manifester, then you're going to lose the things that you've worked so hard to achieve because you haven't learned the past karmic lessons of drawing the boundaries. Now, I had somebody on Instagram the other day say something about, oh, that's a very judgmental thing to say. You think that because people who have been through difficult times and have to deal with these difficult things that their blessings should be delayed. To be clear, I'm not being judgmental about anybody or anyone. And actually, the energy is unbiased. The energy doesn't care. It's not biased. There's no judgment behind the energy. The energy is going to do whatever the cause was. The effect is going to be whatever the cause was. It's energy that's already been set in motion. And a lot of time, these energies are coming from the way that we actually judge ourselves, not the way that we judge other people or the judgments that are coming from other people, because we often put up with the things that we think we deserve. So really this comes down to, what do you think you're worth? How important to you is your energy and your time? Is it so important to you that you want to argue with somebody who's determined to misunderstand you, determined to try to take advantage of you, determined to not have any good intentions with any of it? Are you really going to put your energy in that and that is your best use of that energy? Or would you be better off putting it elsewhere? You need to start putting your energy into people and places that have the biggest impact. If you want to elevate and you want to have that inner circle and that emotional fulfillment, that's part of this 10 of Cups, which is like a very heightened state and a very high level of that abundance, then that means that you're going to have to maintain it. You're going to have to start being more choosy with where you put your time and energy. You're going to have to draw stronger boundaries. You're going to have to let go of a lot more people who are not aligned to that positive energy, because that positive energy cannot exist and cannot grow and cannot be nurtured when there are parasites stealing it and constantly, I guess, like dirtying the pond, so to speak. If you're the person who's dealing with the people coming back, your guidance to that is you need to remain strong in your resolve. Unless this person who's coming back actually shows with action, not with words. Words mean nothing. Words can really hurt your feelings or make you feel really good, but they mean nothing at the end of the day. Words don't mean anything without the action behind them. So unless that person is showing you with proof, not what they tell you, actually showing you with their action that things have changed, then you need to second guess whether or not having that person return to your life and your inner circle is going to be a benefit and is going to make a positive impact. If you're the person who is having to release people at this time, you need to work on your self-worth, and you need to focus on where this is coming from, of why you think you need to either fix this person, or you need to fix the relationship, or that you need to somehow change and be better in order to keep them around if they're in a negative sort of energy. You need to start having more confidence too, and working on your confidence level to be able to draw the boundary. And then in general, I'm seeing that a lot of you really need to work on the difference between being considerate of other people's feelings, and the difference between that and drawing a hard boundary and being assertive versus what you consider being rude or mean or negative. Some of you are not learning the subtle differences between the energies, and it's throwing you off because you're falling into that sort of people-pleasing energy where you're too afraid to stand up for yourself because you're more worried about how the other person's going to react than you are about your own well-being. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. It may sound harsh being put that way, but this is a lesson that I see so many of you are struggling with, and so many people in my own inner circle are struggling with. And it's because that fact has not been hit home yet. And it hasn't completely sunk in a way where everyone seems to be able to digest it. So if you're really looking to elevate your emotional fulfillment, elevate your relationships as part of your goals this year, that's what you need to focus on. Confidence, self-worth, reciprocation, trust. Focus on those areas and it'll be a lot easier to navigate. And remember that you can say something and draw a boundary and be very polite and respectful still, but also be very hard in your resolve. Remember that with the Justice card is an energy of somebody who makes those finite decisions, but it's also somebody who makes these decisions fairly. As long as you're going about it in a way where you are doing the best that you can, and you can even state it with, I'm going to say this as nicely as I can, because for those of you who are still learning to communicate your boundaries, oftentimes we go far off in the opposite direction of being rude and nasty because that's the only way we know how to be. As long as you are focusing on trying to better that communication and better those boundaries and being better at drawing them, there's still going to be progress that's going to be made. And anybody who is going to get mad at you for that is often not going to have your best interest at heart. So this is your reading, and if it resonated with you, don't forget to like this video. Your affirmation for this reading is, I am working on my self-worth and my confidence. I am paying attention to reciprocity when it comes to relationships. I am learning the karmic lessons of my past. And as always, may your life be full of light, full of love, abundance, and gratitude. I'll see you next time.